right, please watch your hands, arms, feet, and legs. The doors are about to slide closed.
So wait, where'd you get that from?
You can get it on Amazon. I mean, it's called a gimbal. Gimbal.
Make sure we are all seated. We cannot begin the safari until we are all seated.
I'm ready to go.
Asante san awarded. That means thank you. Another Swahili phrase we say around here is twin day, and that means let's go. Ciao everyone, Ciao. My name is Audrey. I will be your safari tour guide as we venture out on the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. Before we get started, I do have just a few important safety reminders. Make sure you are fully seated at all times, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the truck at all times. For those of you wanting to take pictures or videos, that's fine, please do, but hold on to your cameras, phones, and any other personal belongings extra tightly for me, because this is a bumpy ride. It's a very bumpy ride, and if you drop anything of any kind off this truck, I cannot stop to retrieve it, so hold on tightly. Please don't make any really loud noises directed at the animals. I promise they won't respond in any way you want them to. If anything, I might just scare them away. Also, please refrain from eating or drinking anything but water for the safety of our animals, and of course no smoking or vaping. Keep an eye on your little ones and make sure everyone is fully seated at all times once again. But hey, I believe that covers everything, so let's get started. We are heading into the Little Eternal Forest. This forest is home to several shy and reclusive forest creatures, many of whom rely on camouflage as their #1 form of defense against predators. Whereas creatures on the savannah and open grasslands tend to rely more on their speed and agility.
Okay, what are we gonna see?
I was hoping each strip was going to be different. Oh, well, yeah, I think they can walk around the front.
Oh, I see a rhino over there to our left. So over there to our left, we're going to see that black rhino down here across the water. So rhinos in general, they have an excellent sense of hearing, horrible sense of sight, and they can charge up to 30 miles an hour. So it's pretty fitting that a group of rhinos is called a crash of rhinos. So over to our right, we're going to see the type of antelope called the bongos. Bongos are a type of antelope that are commonly referred to as the ghosts of the forest. The ghost, because they love to hide, and they are rarely seen in the wild. We also have the greater kudu over there to our right. They're one of the tallest type of antelope, known for their high jumping abilities. The greater kudu.
I don't see you.
Now, unfortunately, a lot of the animals here in the forest, they do suffer from habitat loss as a result of deforestation. But one way you can protect those animals in their habitat is by recycling your paper products, using paper made from recycled materials. Down here on the right, I see the pink-back pelicans hanging out over here to our right. Pink-back pelicans get their name from the pink coloration that appears on their skin during mating season. It's like they're blushing. Down here on the left, there are some Nile Hippos in the water over here to our left. The sun is kind of blinding, but they're the hippos. Nile Hippos, they like to spend the majority of the daytime in the water to help protect their sensitive skin from the sun. At nighttime, hippos are generally much more active on dry land. Nile hippos, the way their bodies are so dense, they kind of just naturally sink to the bottom of the water. So instead of swimming, they just walk along the bottom of the water. And they're pretty good at that since they can hold their breath for up to 12 minutes at a time. Over to our left, you're going to see the Nile crocodiles. These crocodiles are the largest of the crocodilian species. They can live live to be up to 40 years old and weigh up to 500 pounds. Although their diets consist mostly of fish, they do have powerful enough jaws to attack prey that's a lot larger than themselves. In the wild, they have been known to attack zebra, wildebeest, antelope, small hippos, and sometimes even other crocodiles. Over here to our right, you're going to see this large Baobab tree over here to our right. This tree is commonly known as the tree of life due to its ability to survive long periods of drought, and it does that by conserving water in that large trunk. It's also nicknamed the upside down tree because it kind of looks like the roots are sticking up in the air. But lo and behold, we are approaching the West African savanna. This savanna is home to millions of migrating animals each and every year. The savanna landscape is highly influenced by the animals that are currently here inhabiting it. Like for instance, the antelope, they like to mow the grass. Elephants will sometimes knock over trees when they try to use them as scratching posts. And if you look out on the savanna, you're going to see a lot of those tree leaves kind of start right around the same height. That's the height of the giraffe who eat those leaves. And so over there to our right, I do see several wildebeest over there to our right. Wildebeest live in more densely packed herds than any other mammal, except for humans. A typical wildebeest migration in Africa will consist of over 1 million wildebeest, and their migration patterns throughout Africa can even kind of be seen from space. Now there is a spotted hyena just to the left of that cave over there to our left. The hyena's just to the left of that cave. She's like, put her head down. Spotted hyenas, they are all about female empowerment because all of the females in a hyena pack, they outrank all of the males in a hyena pack. They have extremely powerful jaws and they can crush through the bone marrow of their prey and consume it, which is something that not a lot of predators can do. But they're kind of behind that cave back there on the left. This here. They're also very vocal animals. They have many different vocalizations that they use to communicate with each other. Oh, there's one sleeping on top. I don't know if I didn't see that, but yeah, there's one up there, sleeping on top of the cave. They're very vocal animals. A lot of their vocalizations can be heard up to miles away and kind of even sound like a manic laughing, hence their nicknames, the laughing hyenas. Alright, so over here to our left, you're going to see our Nkoli cattle. In Nkoli cattle, you can see they have these giant white horns. Their horns can be up to 5 to 6 feet long, and their horns are neither solid nor hollow. They actually have like honeycomb structure on the inside of their horns. Zebras. We have some giraffes up here too. So these zebras, as you can see, they have black noses. That's how we know they are black with white stripes, because the color of their nose indicates the color of their actual skin. A group of zebras is called a dazzle of zebras. Both giraffes and zebras have unique animal prints that's unique to every single individual animal. It's very similar to how we humans have unique fingerprints. Giraffes are, of course, the tallest land animals. A group of giraffes is called a tower of giraffes. Now giraffes in the wild, they rarely ever sit down like what we're seeing over here to our left because it makes them so much more vulnerable to predators if they're sitting down. But this is a wildlife reserve. They don't have free-roaming predators, so that's why we'll see them lie down or sit down. It's just not really something you'd see with wild giraffes. Giraffes are mostly gentle creatures, but they do have powerful legs and powerful kicks as self-defense. So much that lions and other predators, they rarely attack adult giraffes unless they're sitting down. Giraffes only get about 30 minutes of sleep a day, and they don't even take all that sleep at once. You just get little naps here and there throughout the day. To our right, you're going to see an African elephant as soon as we turn around here. And over there to our right, there's an African elephant. Now, elephants are, of course, the largest land animals. Elephants have pretty sensitive skin, so they like to fling dirt and mud on their backs as like the natural form of sunblock. That's why you'll oftentimes see that elephants have a lot of dirt on their backs. It's kind of like their skincare routine. We'll get another view of this elephant here in just a second. Looks like we're going to see the backside. Elephants also live in matriarchs, meaning the eldest females are in charge of their group. And depending on their size and age, they can eat over 300 pounds of food each day.
What about how many protrusions? Office toe and office foot.
Unfortunately, a lot of our animals, such as those African elephants, they do suffer from habitat loss, and that's because a lot of their habitats contain a key mineral that is mined and used to make small electronics. That mineral is known as coltan. But one way you can make a difference to help prevent future habitat loss is by recycling your cell phones, laptops, tablets, and any other small electronics. Large trunks for just about everything that elephants do, which is included but not limited to eating, drinking, breathing, communicating, sleeping, and swimming. There are more muscles in an elephant's trunk than in the entire human body. Very powerful, very strong trunks. On our right and our left, you'll see we're passing through more of these baobab trees. Another reason why these trees are called the trees of life is because in the event of a severe drought, the animals, especially the rhinos and these elephants, they know that they have a source of water in these trees. If they need it, all they have to do is kind of ram up their horns or their tusks into the base of these trees, and they can get some water in the event of a severe drought. To see the greater flamingos. These flamingos are the largest and lightest shade of the entire flamingo species. Flamingos get their pink coloration from the tiny brine shrimp that they eat. Flamingos are actually born gray in color, and they'll develop that pink coloration about 1.5 years or 2 years into their lives. A group of flamingos is called a flamboyance of flamingos. Now, as you're leaving Animal Kingdom today, you might be on the lookout for the lesser flamingos. As their name suggests, the lesser flamingos are about half the size of these greater flamingos, and they're a darker shade of pink just because they're smaller. But they kind of hang out by the, I want to say like the Tree of Life on Discovery Island, but it should be kind of on on your way out, so just keep an eye out for some more flamingos. Their name from the Afrikaans word "white," which is translated to mean wide, not white, because black and white rhinos, they're actually about the same color. They're both grayish, but these white rhinos have a much wider mouth and they're about 1,000 pounds bigger. Rhinos, unfortunately, they are critically endangered, not because of any natural predators, but because of humans who poach them for their keratin horns. When keratin is just the same material that makes up our human hair and nails, they have no scientific value whatsoever. But rhinos, they do like to file down their horns, very similar to how we file down our nails. They will do that by rubbing them up against like trees or big rocks or stuff like that. But they have like a preference of how they want their own horns to be, which is so cute. And up here to our left, maybe just kidding. I thought I saw a cheetah, but I did not. Oh, she's way back there. Okay, so cheetahs, they are the fastest land animals. Unlike other big cats, cheetahs do their hunting during the day, and that's because they have those black tear marks that run from their inner eyelids all the way down to their nose. That acts as like a natural way for cheetahs to block the sun from their eyes. Cheetahs are also the only big cats that purr. The only big cats that purr. Here, this thing ahead of us is called a kopie. Kopies are found in nature and are what inspired Pride Rock from the Lion King. Pride Rock is a kopie. The lions use these kopies as a vantage point to look for their prey, but mostly just to sleep, because lions spend about 16 to 20 hours a day sleeping or resting. A group of lions is called a pride of lions. The female lionesses, they do the majority of the hunting for the pride, while the male lions will stay back, guard the territory, and watch over the young cubs. They do have powerful loud roars that can be heard up to miles away, and those loud roars are how they all keep track of each other when the lionesses are out hunting. Their sleepy heads.
Oh, she's hooping.
Here's the male lion to our left.
Where?
We saw 20.
Yeah.
I do that too. I like smelling. Why? Smell like anything.
I think we're just stopped here for a second because the animal keepers, around this time, they bring stuff across the ride path, so But usually it doesn't come, but it won't be too long.
That's a good picture.
As we come around here, down here on the left, you're going to see this little antelope grazing down here on our left. He's a little antelope called a Bontebok. He's the only Bontebok we have on our reserve, but we're pretty lucky to have him because 100 years ago, there were less than 20 of those Bonteboks left in the entire world. They were really targeted by poachers because they have those really beautiful glossy coats. Today, there's about 400 of them left, so they are, their numbers have gone up, but they are still endangered, unfortunately. But we're just pretty lucky to have even one Bontebok on our reserve. And he's actually one of the oldest living Bonteboks in the entire world. But coming up down here on the right, we're going to see another one of our baby rhinos over here to our right. I think this looks like little Milo down here on the right. How much does Milo weigh? Well, let's see. I think a couple months ago, I remember them telling me he was about 800 pounds. Like, well, rhinos, white rhinos, when they're fully grown, they can be up to 5,000 to 6,000 pounds. So I bet he's closer to 1,000 pounds now. Probably past that. But Milo is just about over a year old. He had his first birthday a couple weeks ago. He's the second youngest little baby rhino we have in our reserve. He has a half little sister. We might have seen her earlier back there. But she's the youngest. She's about a little under a year old. Her name is Logan. Logan was named after her parents. Her parents' names are Lola and Dugan. So they took the first part of Lola, second part of Dugan for the name Logan. I'm not sure what we're holding for. You'll see little Milo down here on our right. And those eggs down there on the right, those are real ostrich eggs down there on the right. A single ostrich egg weighs about the same as a dozen chicken eggs. They're very heavy and very sturdy eggs. The Harambe Wildlife Reserve, like other reserves throughout Africa, works to engage folks like you in conservation. I'm pretty sure that's what we were holding for, as we usually have the goats over here to our left, but the goats run across the right path and go eat their dinner over there to our right, so I'm pretty sure that's what we're holding for. But Anyway, there are so many ways to get involved with conservation, but a good start is just by supporting our Disney Conservation Fund. This fund helps to protect wildlife in wild places, because unfortunately a lot of the animals we just saw, they are endangered or critically endangered because of habitat loss or poaching or both. And the Disney Conservation Fund works to prevent habitat loss and poaching. So if you're interested, you are able to make a donation to the Disney Conservation Fund at several of the merchandise locations here in Animal Kingdom. If you're wanting to learn more about the specific behind-the-scenes work that our animal keepers do here each and every day, I highly recommend that you check out The Magic of Disney's Animal Kingdom on Disney+. It's a docu-series that talks about animals all over Walt Disney World and the keepers that take care of them every day. And once again, it's called The Magic of Disney's Animal Kingdom on Disney+, so check it out, it's pretty cool. Ooh. To say goodbye. We feel it's far too final because we do hope you come back and see us again someday. So instead of goodbye, we say kwaherini. And kwaherini is a Swahili phrase that means go well. So kwaherini friends, go well, go wild, go make a difference out there. My name's Audrey. Thanks for joining us tonight here at Kilimanjaro Safaris. I hope you all have a magical rest of your evening here in Disney's Animal Kingdom and wherever your next adventure takes you. Kwaherini.